Each drop that makes its way into Misty Nim's arm holds the potential for a precious gift.
I want to just continue to live life.
The gift of more time with her husband and 3 sons.
Now I do have melanoma that's moved to different organs.
First diagnosed 5 years ago at just 31 years old, Misty made it nearly 5 years before scans last spring showed the cancer returned. Surgery was not an option, and there are few other treatments, so her doctor suggested immune therapy.
It's not a cure, it's not getting rid of the disease inside me, it hopefully is suppressing it.
Immune therapy is harvesting our own immune system, helping our own body to fight against the cancer with less toxicities which we see with the chemotherapies.
Dr. Mahmoud Hashmi says immunotherapies use man-made antibodies or other drugs to kick the immune system to another level.
We are enhancing our own immune system by some artificial substances to fight against the cancer.
The drugs are delivered intravenously, but unlike chemotherapy, Dr. Hashmi says immune therapies have fewer side effects and take less time to administer. He said it finally gives doctors something to offer cancer patients for whom there are no other options, buying them time for researchers who are always on the verge of the next big breakthrough.
It has really changed the way how we are treating the patients. More and more immune therapies are getting available, more and more cancers are showing responses.
5 years ago, basically there was a 1% chance that I would make it to 3 additional years of life. Now with the immunotherapy, 35% of people who continue with these treatments and their body accept it have made it to at least that 5-year point.
Which means nothing if Misty's body isn't accepting it. She's received 4 treatments so far, coming to the Cotton O'Neill Cancer Center every 3 weeks. Today, she gets the results of her first scan since she started.
Actually, all the nodules are gone.
You're kidding.
The news is beyond everyone's expectations.
There's nothing there.
Wow.
It's still a long road ahead, and Misty says she'll continue to rely on her husband, sons, their network of support, and their faith.
Important to prolong life, me getting to spend time with my family, my kids.
Hopeful each drop brings time to create another flood of memories.
No matter what hurdle you come up against, just continue to have faith, hope, and push through.
So how's life?
Side by side, Rosina Houle and Alonzo Jameson might seem an unlikely pair, but their friendship is forged from the most personal of bonds.
I had a sister who was very sick 2 years ago.
And I knew sooner or later I was going to have to go to a doctor and he's going to tell me I need to go on dialysis.
Rosina's sister Jessie was diagnosed with kidney disease at 18. Their mother was a living donor for a new kidney when she was 40, but more than 15 years later, it was failing.
It was truly the hardest thing that you just have to do, to sit and watch someone just completely deteriorate.
Alonzo was an elite college athlete.
And what a performance by KU's Alonzo Jameson.
A star of the Kansas Jayhawks' 1991 Final Four run, but diabetes ran rampant in his family.
When I was playing, it was kept in check. I mean, I was running on a daily basis, and my mom had went through all of this. She lost a limb, and it just never registered to me that it was going to happen to me.
3 years ago, when he was 45, his wife, Colleen, insisted he see a doctor.
2 weeks later, I actually had my PD catheter, peritoneal dialysis.
Instead of chasing his daughters, Alonzo was tethered by an immediate start to an hours-long daily procedure so a machine could do what his kidneys no longer could, clean his blood. Also, an immediate spot with Rosina's sister and nearly 100,000 other Americans on the waiting list for a kidney transplant.
If he wasn't doing some dialysis, he would have died.
Dr. Scott Solcher, who's a nephrologist in Topeka, says like all organs, there's a huge gap between need and numbers of donors. But unlike a heart, for example, we have 2 kidneys, so a healthy, living person can give one of theirs to someone in need.
Dialysis is a huge burden, and if you could, get rid of that for somebody, it's just miraculous. They feel better, they're back to work, they are going to live longer.
Still, with no true national registry for it, most living donors are found through families or word of mouth.
Only 1 out of 3 transplants currently in the United States are living donors.
With no match in her family this time around and seeing the weight take a toll on her sister, Rosina formed Save a Life, Inc. to cast a wider net of awareness about the need for living donors.
We can solve this problem. We have to go out, we have to be able to get people to understand what a living donor is.
As Alonzo and his family joined in spreading that message, an Army veteran in Wichita, Shekinah Bailey, saw his story on Facebook.
He was shackled to a machine every single day. I just can't even imagine. I mean, he had less of a battery life than an iPhone. There's just something about that's not right.
Shekinah had never met Alonzo, was only a casual acquaintance of his wife through work connections, but reached out.
I knew I couldn't look in the mirror if I didn't do this.
They were a match. January 24th, surgeons at University of Kansas Health System took one of Shekinah's kidneys and transplanted it in Alonzo.
It's a complete 180.
What do you owe him?
My life. My life. He just doesn't know, and I can't put it into words, but I think he knows he's done a hell of a thing for me.
It's a huge benefit for him. It's not a huge sacrifice for me. I gave up ibuprofen.
Rosina knows how huge the gift was. 3 weeks earlier, her sister lost her fight, still waiting. But walking now with Alonzo, Rosina says Jesse's voice lives on, with every story heard, every life saved.
Seeing where these people are, and then seeing the life that they have been given, it's just completely different. This is a problem, and we need to fix it, and we can, and you can help.
Nikki Maloney loves to have her friends' sons, Peyton and Declan, visit, and she wants them to be safe.
Let's start in the kitchen.
This tour with Safe Kids Teresa Taylor opened her eyes to the dangers hidden in plain sight, like those household cleaners under the kitchen sink.
A lot of these liquids look like maybe fruity drinks, and so it wouldn't be uncommon for them to open it up and have a little taste, which could be very dangerous. A way that you could remedy that is to just put a simple cabinet lock.
Also, watch what's on the counter.
These are way too easy to get into.
Move medication dispensers up high, and car keys are not a toy.
Key fob actually has lithium-ion battery in it, and so kids will commonly be playing with keys, and sometimes these can come open, and if they ingest these batteries, that could be very dangerous.
In fact, those button batteries, whether from key fobs or hearing aids, sparked nearly 2,800 calls to poison control centers in 2013 and caused 3 deaths. Another danger zone, the stairs.
Unfortunately, we do see a fair amount of head injuries and things from falls. If you do have a baby gate to put up at the top or bottom of the stairs, that's perfect.
In the bathroom, you might think about keeping medications out of reach, but water could be a bigger threat. First, it can easily burn a child's more delicate skin.
Making sure that we're testing the water temperature before they are exposed to it. It's best to have the hot water heater set to 120 degrees or below.
And don't forget the toilet.
Start playing in the water, and then as they're top heavy, they can go over into it and then not be able to rescue themselves back up because they're too top heavy. So making sure to keep the lids closed, but most of all, keeping the bathroom door closed when there's children visiting is just a really good idea.
But you can't hide your furniture. Remember this video of a dresser tipping on toddlers? It's more common than you think. Safe Kids says more than 22,000 children a year end up in emergency rooms with injuries related to furniture, TV, or appliances falling over.
Furniture like this could be just mounted to the wall.
To explore other hazards, get down on the floor to see things as a child would. Decorations with small parts can be choking hazards, and cords or exposed outlets are also tempting.
They explore the world in all ways and with all their senses. So putting things into their mouths, from chewing on the cord, you could get an electrical injury. Any kind of cords could be a choking hazard to a strangulation hazard.
Nikki's now taking a fresh look to ensure all Peyton and Declan's visits are filled with smiles and no tears. Washburn Rural High School Athletic Director Penny Lane knows firsthand what can be lurking in the gym.
Anytime you have a lot of people in the same area, the possibility exists for things to happen.
In 2015, one of their students had a confirmed case of MRSA, a potentially serious bacterial infection often resistant to antibiotics.
If it is not treated appropriately, maybe misdiagnosed or not reported by the student athlete or coaches or anyone else around that student athlete, it can start to form abscesses. It can even get in the bloodstream and start to cause organ damage and a very severe illness.
The risk is greatest in sports with skin-to-skin contact like wrestling, but anyone who enters a gym could be at risk.
You know, we live around bacteria all the time.
A Washburn University biology class helped us discover how true that is.
Kind of strategize where you think there might be some interesting samples.
They sampled surfaces all over the rec center, from exercise balls to machines, even door handles and the rock climbing wall, collecting swabs alongside staff who follow a regular protocol sanitizing machines after each use. 2 weeks later,
I don't think that one fermented at all.
They got a look at what they found.
Yeah.
And they did write a lot of zeros in the column indicating possible dangerous staph strains.
So I think that's good news overall for the rec center and for those people that use it.
Although a potential problem spot did show up on one yoga ball.
Does it concern you at all, or are you?
It does somehow, because the way this thing turned yellow, to me, it's fermented mannitol, which is stuff does that, so I get kind of scared.
The American Academy of Pediatrics also is taking it seriously. Last month, it published a report on infectious diseases associated with organized sports and guidelines for controlling outbreaks. It recommends teaching young athletes personal hygiene, like not sharing towels, mouth guards, combs, or water bottles, showering after practice, and regularly washing workout clothes. Also, schools should have a cleaning plan for sporting equipment.
The prevention and the treatment is so multimodal that involves parents, the athletes, our athletic trainers, physicians, mid-levels, even athletic directors, custodians.
Watching for skin rashes and sores also is important. The Kansas State High School Activities Association takes that a step further for wrestlers, keeping athletes with skin infections out of action with medical clearance to return.
Now, the athletes don't like that because they want to play and get back to sport, but really to prevent an outbreak, we've got to be really careful.
It's filled with the sanitizer as well.
Daily skin checks for wrestlers are just one step Washburn Rural has taken since its MRSA case.
You know, with the wrestling shoes off.
Any shoes now step through sanitizer before stepping on the mats. The whole wrestling room is fogged daily and the mat sanitized twice more. Plus, they installed special ionizers in this room along with the weight room and football field house.
And it cleans the air with a 99% plus killing of bacteria and viruses.
In addition, they've doubled down on training for custodial staff and education for students. Their game plan is a team effort to defeat the risks.
Just those general preventative kinds of things that we, try to teach and emphasize in our kids to keep themselves and everybody else around them safe.
People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C.
This public service announcement is among efforts spreading the word. The CDC now recommends all people born between 1945 and 65 be screened for hepatitis C.
It's a virus that attacks the liver and causes inflammation.
Advanced nurse practitioner Cindy Peterson of Cotton O'Neill Infectious Disease says untreated, hep C can cause permanent liver damage, necessitating a transplant, as well as damage to the heart and kidneys. 3/4 of the more than 3 million people living with hep C are baby boomers, and most don't even know it.
It's commonly referred to as a silent killer because you won't always have something specific that tells you this is hep C. It can be pretty vague. Abdominal pain, some have nausea, joint pain, increased fatigue.
Hep C is spread through infected blood, so practices like sharing needles or even personal items like razors or toothbrushes. The CDC says baby boomers also might have become infected from medical equipment or procedures before universal infection control standards were adopted. Also, widespread screening of the blood supply for transfusions didn't happen until 1992. The CDC first issued the recommendation in 2012 that all baby boomers be screened for Hep C, but education efforts increased over the past year. Stormont Vail now has this reminder pop up for all patients in the age range. Why the increased awareness now? Peterson believes it's the development of more effective oral medications. Until just a few years ago, the only available treatment involved weekly injections with debilitating side effects.
And now we have these medications which do not have a lot of side effects. The big difference is the cure rates. Prior to these oral medications, 60% cure rates. Now we have 95 to 99% cure rates.